Hello, it is me, the creature, and I wanted to do a little something different compared to what I normally do. And that is a little bit of a session of mine that has perhaps influentiated me in some way. I just definitely just not make up that word, but you get the point. And that is everywhere at the end of time. Now your first question is, what the heck is everywhere at the end of time? And I'll tell you what it is. It is 6 music albums released between 2016 and 2019. And it was all made by this genius right here, James Leland Kirby, who also goes in a name you probably heard of or know, the Caretaker. Probably wondering why he chose that subname, and I'll tell you why he did. It was inspired by the freaking Shining. Go watch the movie or read the book. It is so good. Now, as I previously mentioned, these albums go through 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. And if you do not listen to that in order, then what's the point of listening? Fucking brain rot. Now, there is a theme with these albums that it secretly holds. But we're not going to get to that. For now, I want to talk about my thoughts after listening to it, not knowing anything at all, essentially going butt naked. So let's start stage 1. Stage 1, How I Love You. Of course, I'm not gonna forget that song that TikTok ruined for me. But once you get past that song, my god, listening to this felt like my youth was being grasped into my hands and flashed before my eyes. I remember back then, I would always play on my DS with my sister, played on the Wii with my family, visit my grandma and seeing her dogs, hang out with my dad's dad. Of course, listening to this as I'm older made me imagine a future husband in my hands as we dance in a ballroom alone, where I feel free, forgetting everything around us as I feel accepted for once in my life. You know, like as if everything is perfect in your life. But then we get to the end, and just like that, everything feels like a goodbye. Goodbye to youth. Goodbye to my dreams. A goodbye to my memories. These were my favorite songs from this stage. Let's go on to stage 2. Stage 2 definitely sets reality back to where it should be, which is now.
God damn this fucking hellhole. I hate this fucking house.
I don't know, it's just listening to this really made me sad. Where just, it feels like it's like the songs are clinging on to something, and I felt related to that, you know. I cling on to memories, but yet, like, eventually it's gonna be forgotten. It's gonna be just gone, and I'm not gonna remember anything of my youth. Nothing at all. And the more I listen to these songs, it gets a little worrying, you know, where reality really makes you think about what will you be, what is the purpose of your existence, what is even the point, you know. There's people in my life that definitely affected me in a way that wasn't very good, and this album definitely encouraged it in a bad way, you know, where reality really makes you remember things that you don't want to really remember at all. Like, whatever job this stage is encouraging you to feel, it's doing way too much. Definitely. That's all I can say. It sucks. It fucking sucks that I'm relating myself to a fucking album of all things that at the time I didn't know much of at all. I felt stupid for wanting to really relate to something that I didn't know, you know. Anyways, here's stage 3. Oh boy, stage 3. This is my favorite one. I could care less what anyone says. This is my favorite one. And it's mainly because of the songs. It feels oddly good, you know. But then again, at some points in these songs, it gets a little weird and it gets a little repetitive with like the songs that I've already heard, or like it just gets weird, you know. It's in a way that where the weird feels comforting to me, and usually not much weird things can really comfort me, you know. Not much, you know. It gets a little overstimulating for someone as me who has ADHD and autism, you know, where the noise just really fucks me up and I just lose focus and it, like, the surroundings around me as I fall into it, you know. But these are my favorite songs though. I love these songs. Stage 4. I honestly have no words for this one when listening to this, just pure uncomfortability. I did not feel comfortable listening to this album. Even looking at like the art of it just really, it's creepy. Ugh. But eventually, like, some parts of the songs you just kind of drift off into, you know, where it just feels collided with you, you know. It feels, I don't know. There's every single song is just interesting in its own way. But for me, it was just noise. I didn't understand it. I tried to understand it, but it was just weird, you know. It was something that at the time I didn't really. I wanted to learn. I wanted to comprehend. I wanted to understand, you know. As much as I'm used to, like, the whole topic of, like, you know, the purpose of it not being understood is more terrifying. In this context, it gets a little weird. You know, it makes me want to learn more and, you know, eventually be like, what the fuck is up with these albums, you know? But I didn't. I just immersed myself and listened. And it gets real interesting. But then we get to stage 5. I don't know what's happening here, honestly. This is where I got confused. But I took time to at least listen to it, you know. Where it was a jumbled mess. I felt very uncomfortable. Like static, if you will, constantly jittering, constantly moving, you know. It was overstimulating, but I listened to it because I was so interested into it. But then clarity. And then back into the mess. And then I question what happened. Where was it? Where was that moment? You know, that moment of clarity. Where'd it go? What happened? You know? It's just mess. My God. It was a lot. You know. I have no words for this one. It was just fucking weird to listen to, you know. It was just weird to me. But the weird really made me more interested, you know. Stage 6. Nothing. There was nothing. Just noise. felt like as if everything was just building up for nothing. But the nothing doesn't make you feel like as if you're disappointed. It was just you alone listening to this, and you made it to the end. To the end of nowhere. That is it. It ends just like that. All of that just for it to end like that. Of course, when I was done listening to it, I wasn't even disappointed. I actually wanted to learn what was the purpose behind these albums. That's when I felt dumb. That's when I felt sad. It was for Alzheimer's, dementia. So essentially, listening to this was listening to someone's mind going away, just gone, like that. And it makes you scared, just like actually thinking about it, listening again, making you think. You realize that this was someone's life that you were listening to. Someone's memories, someone's bliss. Just listening to this again just made me felt sad. So, overall, it is definitely an experience that I never really forgot. It was lovely listening to it all, and I hope you listen to it. You know, it's pretty fucking good. I love it. And I want to say that listening to this experience for the first time made me felt memories, you know. It was a way of coping to sadness, you know. But eventually I grew up, you know, and realized that these albums are definitely a treasure, you know, in media. And honestly, again, I think it deserves more recognition, deserves more praise. And I think it shouldn't be really affected by the current generation, because the current generation ruins things, you know. But that's just me, you know. Fuck you. So with that, I hope... Oh, fuck, I dropped my headphones. So with that, I hope you enjoyed me essentially explaining one of my favorite things. That I don't really talk about much, so I wanted to do a video on it so I can not forget about how much I loved these albums and the Caretaker in general for making this experience for the public, essentially. And I hope you do too. So with that, bye-bye! Markiplier reference.
Fucking what?